cryptocurrency is the way of the future. It's easy. It's secure. It's on a blockchain, public ledger. Everybody can see it. I just think it's the way to go.
Hi, my name is Ryan Cino Jr. I'm Ryan Cino's son, 24 years old. I'm a fixed-wing airplane pilot, and I'm out here in Teterboro visiting my dad for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. After high school, I went to a college called Embry-Riddle. It's a STEM school, so they kind of specialize in like cybersecurity, aviation, engineering, stuff like that. And I went to their campus in Florida for a year and a half, and then I transferred to their campus in Arizona for 2.5 years, where I was able to start flying with Embry-Riddle.
So this is a Global Express, and this airplane's pretty smart. So that oil leak that the crew reported that may be present in the aft equipment bay, we think might be from the remote servicer, engine servicer. But this airplane is so smart that it won't let you service the engines or the APU out of a specific time range of engine shutdown. So we're gonna come out here, we're gonna run the engines to restart that clock so we can get that servicer working to make sure it's not leaking.
Explain the first time you actually got into a plane to fly it solo. Like, what's that process like? Do you have to fly with other people before they actually allow you to fly?
So you start with your private pilot's license. So it's basically like just you can go for fun. You can't make money. You can't really carry that many people. If you carry people, it has to be for common cause. Like there's all these regulations behind it. And you have to go up and train with an instructor for a certain amount of time. And you have to do all this training before your first solo in case there's an emergency on your first solo. They don't want you to just go up and there's an emergency and you're like, you don't know what to do. So you have to go out and do all these maneuvers called stalls and steep turns, and you have to learn how to land the plane on your own and all that kind of stuff. All the lingo that you use to air traffic control, the proper way to navigate around an airport to practice landings. It's actually really intensive before you get to fly alone. And it's like, that's like your halfway point before you take your test.
I don't fucking see nothing.
Maybe in front of the middle. This way.
It's between window 1 and 3.
There's an emergency exit light out, and we need to change the power supply because changing the bulb's not going to do it. The original prints for it showed that it was towards the back or in the baggage. Can't find it at all. Took a bunch of stuff apart. Then we got told that there was a relocation, which means that it got moved somewhere else sometime during the past few years. It's showing it's between window 1 and 3, but there's a lot of stuff in the way, as you can see. There's bundles of wires, there's padding, you know what I mean?
I got the crew together, and we're going to address a few items to get it ready for its trip later on tomorrow. So we have to change a clamp on a variable frequency generator on the engine. That's what Adrian's doing right now.
What does that mean? What is that?
It's just a power generator for this airplane. So there's a retaining clamp. We have to change that clamp and the hardware that secures that generator. We also have an emergency exit light that's not working. So we're trying to troubleshoot that and figure out why it's not working. It could be a power supply or a bulb or wiring, so we're in the midst of doing that. And then we're going to do a standard service check and go through the airplane and make sure everything's topped off and serviced and ready for flight.
We pinpointed it down to station 728, and showing that it's third from the last window, which is right behind this couch. And we just gotta figure out.
You got money on it?
No, to be honest, no. It's a puzzle piece. We gotta figure out how to take this apart.
I learned how to do aircraft mechanic stuff all through my dad. It's not something I can professionally do. It's just something I know how to do from watching my dad and my dad trying to teach me over the years. Because I've been coming to work with him since I was 5 years old.
Oh, shit. How old are you now?
24.
Okay.
So, I mean, I hear at least once a year, usually more times than once a year.
Okay.
But, again, I can't do it professionally. So I know a little bit here and there, but I'm nowhere near the level where he is. But now I'm commercial pilot. So now I can talk about flying airplanes with him and he's nowhere near it. So it's like a nice compliment to each other.
I see.
Is this just a Make the seatbelt come back.
My name is Ryan Cino. I'm a 25-year aviation professional. I'm a Navy veteran. I'm at Teterboro Airport this morning. I'm the founder of Rapid Aircraft Maintenance Services and the Cino Token as well. Today is November 27th, Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
When did you first hear about cryptocurrency, and how did you hear about it?
Oh, I heard about it. It's probably in 2017 from my son. He was like, "Dad, you gotta look into this Bitcoin." And I'm like, "What is all that? I can't touch." I was the same way that most people address it now. I can't touch it. I can't see it. What is it? It's digital or whatever. But the more I looked into it, I was like, man, this sounds like it could be something. And at the time it was very inexpensive, so you take some money and you invest in something and see how it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you got to take a chance. So we finally got behind the couch, the divan, and we found the emergency power supply number 4, which controls the suspect light assembly. So I found that there's a built-in test button on the front of it, and I had no charging light visible. So I hit the test button, amber light came on, and then
Put the light on him? Go ahead.
The test light came on, and then I was able to see a charging indicator, which means I probably, during the built-in test, gave the battery enough current going through enough draw on the battery to reactivate the charging circuit. Mm-hmm. So since we have access to it, we decided to change the battery in that power supply. We're going to check the light right now to make sure it's working, and if it is, we're going to close this all back up and be done for the day.
Word. When did you first hear about Cino Token, and what was your response to it?
My first response was, the first time I heard about Cino Token was the morning my dad created it. I had just walked into my job, and my dad texted me, and he was like, "I created a cryptocurrency." I was like, "What are you talking about? What's going on here?" And I had to wait till the end of the day to actually talk to him and see what he was doing. And he was like, "No, I'm going to do this." And my head was just like, all right, whatever. Like, it's cool. It's funny. It's going to be out there. Cino Token, our last name. And here we are. And we're coming up on a year in March, and he's still hammering away at this thing every day. Mm-hmm. Every time I talk to my dad, it's something about Cino Token.
I remember telling him, and he's like, "You did what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I told him the story and what my ideas were behind the project and whatever." And he's like, That's pretty good, Dad. Like he was astounded that I did that and I think he remembered from telling me, he goes, "Dad, I was the one who told you about cryptocurrency, and now you're doing your own." So it's just funny. My son is he's very cautious of my ideas, but he's very supportive. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense. He's almost like a voice of reason, like my wife, Michelle. She's a voice of reason sitting on my shoulder saying, "Is this the right thing to do?" Or this, but once I lay out my plan, and some of my plans are shit. Mm-hmm. Some are good. Once I lay out a plan and it makes sense, I'm very happy to have the people behind me that support me the way they do.
I was fucking with the wires.
What?
I was fucking with the wires while you were walking out there. Do you think it might be a break in a wire?
Could be. It's working now.
Put it back in there, cover it, and just try not to disturb the wires as much as possible.
Is it true that Ryan Cino gets what he wants?
I always get what I want. Always.
What do you want out of the Cino Token? What is the grand vision of Cino?
My grand vision is to revolutionize an industry and be able to change people's lives.
In what way? In what industry?
I want to revolutionize the industry, but early investors, and even now, investors that come in now.
What industry?
The aviation industry, the commercial transportation industry. I want to revolutionize payment systems and asset storage and global money transfers. It's so difficult now. If we can just get over the hurdles of, short-term investors, and I wish people would not change their investing strategies in cryptocurrency based on markets that don't affect cryptocurrency.
Yeah, so the cockpit's kind of all centered around the two pilots. If you kind of look around, everything's kind of mirrored for the right seat and the left seat. So both pilots can do pretty much everything at the same time. Like, it doesn't matter who's doing what, but they can both do everything. Over here to the left is the oxygen mask. It kind of grabs your face like a face hugger if the cabin depressurizes, because then it depressurizes, you go into euphoria and everybody kind of just loses oxygen and dies. So you grab this mask and just put it up to your face, and it kind of just suction cups to your face so you can fly the airplane and not worry about passing out.
Do you always have to have that on?
At certain altitudes you have to have it. Certain altitudes you have to have it always on. Below you need to have it, like, it needs to be 5 seconds, stuff like that. There's a bunch of different regulations about altitudes and when you need oxygen and stuff like that.
So this would be better if I had a gear wrench. A gear wrench, a stubby gear wrench that is 3/8 or a 3/8 shallow socket.
And there's a shallow socket here.
Okay, let me try that.
I love when you talk dirty like that, right?
Let's try 3/8.
So tell us a little bit about Cino, where people could buy it, and what is it used for?
Where can people buy? The first stop shop for Cino Token is our website. If you go to www.cinotoken.com, you will find almost all the information that you need to learn about the project, where we're going, our projections ahead. There's a tab in there on where to buy, how to buy it. I like buying Cino Token on the decentralized exchange, and I use Phantom Wallet for that. I feel that that is the best place to see what the actual market is doing. I find that exchanges are very manipulative in their business dealings, and I'm not a big fan of that. I know we will need exchanges in the future. We are on CoinStore right now, and I'm not overly thrilled on their performance, but it is what it is.
The one thing I can say about my dad is that, as I've already said in this video, I taught my dad about crypto in 2017. I got him into it and he knew nothing. And now he blows me out of the water. He runs laps around me. I try and study from day to day, and he just has this characteristic that you don't really find in people, where no matter what, he's gonna figure it out. Usually it's not as fast as he likes it, but he's gonna figure it out. I've never seen a time where my dad was like, I can't figure it out. It might have taken him a little while, but he got there. He always gets there.
We are in the very early stages of developing an app, and the app is going to be a one-stop shop for Cino. You will be able to pay your bills in aviation or not. You'll be able to set up other entities that accept Cino, and you'll be able to transfer them through drop-down menus. You'll be able to buy Cino. You'll be able to do staking. You'll be able to do cold storage. I wanted to anything involving Cino and some other, probably just the Solana network tokens on the Solana tree, and maybe some of the big majors. I want you to be able to manage your crypto through the Cino app. So, just 15 minutes ago, it's Thanksgiving, and my developers are sending me photos of what the structure of the page and the pages are going to look like. I haven't even got a chance to look at them. Yeah, they just came through when we were walking upstairs. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thursday morning.
So what do these screens mean up here?
These guys?
Yeah.
So these are all your main instruments. So over here you have your airspeed on the left tape. On the right tape is your altitude, how high you are above sea level. In the middle is your attitude indicator. It looks a little different when it's actually on and running, but it paints a picture of the horizon and what you're looking at relative to the horizon. So it'll show you if you're turned and pitched up or turned and pitched down. It's like, it's a way for you to see outside, because also this plane flies at 40,000 feet, You might not be able to see. You might be in clouds. Like these instruments paint a picture for you when you are so high you can't see, or it's so dark out that you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Over here you have a heading bug, it's a 360-degree compass, and we use it for a bunch of different things. Air traffic control might tell you fly heading 220, or you might have to hit a navigational point and then turn to a certain heading to fly off that navigational point to stay on the airways and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's another big helpful one.
What's a hog veil?
So that's heading. Everything is abbreviations because the cockpit's so small. So it's just saying fail right now because the airplane's not actually running. We're plugged into the ground power cart. You know, none of this is like armed. It's just enough for them to do maintenance on the plane. So for your private pilot's license, to talk about that one, the FAA minimum to take the test is 40 hours on an airplane. That usually doesn't happen. Maybe if you're God's gift to aviation, but the average is around 80 hours. And then you go take your first check ride.
What's the test like?
Test it oral and practical. So it's like us sitting here having a conversation, and they ask you ground knowledge and present all these scenarios to you, and how would you react? What does this mean? And then if you pass that, then you can go do the flight. And then there's a book called the ACS, the Airman Certification Standards, and they just read out of there what to test you on. And you have to go up and you do all this stuff, and they act like they're not there. They just sit there and watch you.
Did you pass that test?
Yep. I've never failed a check ride.
Now, if you're paying with CINO, you would go to the app, you would pick who you want to pay from a drop-down menu, you would enter the amount you need to pay with all the invoices that you're paying, you would hit send. I would get a notification that these are the invoices that have been paid, this is the money that has been sent, this is what you received, and they in turn will get a receipt saying that you paid these invoices with this transaction, and it would literally be done. It could literally be done in less than... realistically speaking, less than 10 minutes, you can make the process go from 30 days or more to less than 10 minutes. And for maintenance, on the maintenance side, if they paid with CINO, they would automatically apply a 10% discount to their invoices, which, on some invoices could be quite a bit of money,
Great.
And over the course of a year, that could be a substantial savings, especially if you have customers that are doing a lot of, business with me. If they do $2 or $3 million a year, 10% of that's a lot of money,
What were your thoughts on crypto in general before this?
I never had too many thoughts on crypto, but in 2018, when Bitcoin started to gain all this traction, right before, I met this kid in high school, and he was super into it. He was from Saudi Arabia, and he taught me a lot of stuff, and we were building cryptocurrency miners in his dorm room. We were paying each other with cryptocurrency. Like, it was cool. I mean, it was useless because it was just me and him, but it was cool. And then after months of telling my dad about it, he was like, all right, let's check this out. Let me sign up for a Coinbase account. And I remember sitting there with my dad at like midnight and being like, and him asking questions like, so what's a Bitcoin? Like, he had no clue what he was talking about. And this was 7 years ago. And now he's outpaces me.
So you put him on to cryptocurrency?
Yeah, in 2017, right when Bitcoin had to be around $3,000 when I put my dad on cryptocurrency. Ethereum was around $450. Litecoin was around $50. And those were like the only currencies that Coinbase had at the time. There was like 3.
I remember. Holy shit. And then Dogecoin, remember the Dogecoin?
I think Dogecoin got added next, and
2020.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.